Hello and welcome everybody from Podgorica, the capital and the largest city of Montenegro. I already told you in the previous vlog how I got here and why, so I will not repeat that. I hope that you enjoyed that vlog about Budva. So Podgorica literally means the area below Gorica, and Gorica is a diminutive form of Gora, which means in local language hill, a smaller mountain. And Gorica is actually a cypress-covered hillocks that overlooks the city center. The name Podgorica was first mentioned in the court documents of Kotor archives. Kotor is a famous coastal town. Many tourists go there, so it's also advisable to visit Kotor. After the Second World War, in 1946, the city was renamed as Titograd. Probably you heard about the bloody Yugoslavian dictator called Tito. He was the president of the Federal Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia from 1953 until 1980. So to honor this Yugoslavian leader, the city was already in 46 renamed as Titograd, until 1992, when it gained back its previous and original name Podgorica. In the medieval ages, Podgorica was connecting famous trading routes between the Ragusa Republic and Serbia, so it became like an economic hub of trade, and it developed very fast also from a military point of view, so the city was a wealthy one. The Ottoman Empire conquered Podgorica in 1474, and the city became part of the Sanjak of Scutari Kaza, which was led by Albanian pashas. 5 years later, the Turkish built here a very huge fortress because they wanted to control the whole region. It was their military base of defense and also of tech here, because it was an economic and trading hub, as I mentioned before, so it was very important to them to defend their new territory, Podgorica. But in 1760 they lost this territory against the Albanian Shkodra family of Bushati. They defeated the Turkish and ruled Podgorica and this region until 1831, when the Ottomans could conquer back this part. In 1874, the Ottomans killed a man called Kurnic, and the locals were acting aggressively, of course, for the unnecessary killing, and the Ottomans responded with a massacre. They killed 15 local people, and the news about this massacre were spreading all over Montenegro, so the Montenegrin Ottoman War started. 4 years later, the war was ended, and at the Berlin Conference, Berlin Peace Congress, the Ottomans recognized the new Montenegrin kingdom, so finally Montenegro gained its freedom, its independence. Back that time Podgorica was just a small city with 1,500 houses and 8,000 inhabitants, and between those people there were many Roman Catholic, Orthodox and Muslim. During the First World War in 1916, the Austrian-Hungarian monarchy forces conquered the kingdom of Montenegro, but that didn't last long, because 2 years later the First World War ended, and the controversial National Assembly voted for the end of the Kingdom of Montenegro, and they joined the Kingdom of Serbia, and they formed the new country, Kingdom of the Serbs, Slovenians and Croatians. In the interwar period between 1918 and 1941, Podgorica was so undeveloped that people, the residents, didn't even have a bathroom inside of their house, so public bathrooms were used on the streets. After the Yugoslav coup d'etat on the 27th March of 1941, demonstrations were held in Podgorica, and the people were supporting this coup. So after the coup, Yugoslavia announced that they turn against their former allies, against the Axis powers, and after that they were subsequently invaded. Already on the 6th April of 1941, the Germans, the Luftwaffe, were bombing Podgorica, and well, after, during the Second World War, 80 times occurred when Podgorica was bombed. So yeah, the city was almost destroyed during these bombings. In 1944, Podgorica and Montenegro were liberated, and they joined the new communist Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. The Yugoslav war in the 1990s mostly bypassed Podgorica, but they could feel the hyperinflation and economic stagnation caused by the war, and in 1999 the NATO forces also applied an airstrike on Podgorica. After the end of Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro agreed of continuous cooperation, and in 2003 they formed a new country called Serbia and Montenegro. On the 21st May of 2006, a referendum was held about the independence of Montenegro, and 55.5% voted to have an independent country. And well, it's very interesting that the European Union said that they will only recognize the referendum when it surpassed a threshold of 55%, so that was barely done. 55.5% of the Montenegrin population said that they want a separate independent country, not anymore cooperation with the Serbians. According to a census made in 2011, Podgorica has a population of 185,000 people. From that, 60% are Montenegrins, 24% are Serbians, and 2.56% are Romanis. This rocky beach is called Plaja Labud. I can imagine locals coming here, but now I cannot see anybody. It's also a nice pub. If you want to visit it one day, it's called Na Moraču. So this is the Moraca River, which flows through Podgorica, and this bridge is called the Moscow Bridge. The consulate of Russia is very close to this bridge. Actually, it's a nice place. I really like it here. Also take a dip if you want. Podgorica is not only the administrative center of Montenegro, but also its main economic engine. Most of Montenegro's industrial, financial and commercial base are in Podgorica. As I mentioned in the introduction of the vlog, Podgorica was part of the Ottoman Empire centuries long. This clock tower, called Sat Kula, is one of the very few Ottoman landmarks that survived the bombings of Podgorica in the Second World War. It was built in 1667 by Haji Pasha Osmanagic, a prominent citizen of Podgorica. It is a freestanding 19 meters tall stone clock tower. Today Sat Kula is an important cultural monument of Montenegro, and it is protected by law, so we cannot go inside. The clock was renovated in January 2012 when a new electric mechanism was installed, as the old one is kept for historic significance only. The clock shows the right time. Unfortunately, only few buildings survived the bombings of the Second World War. Now we are in the old town of Podgorica, called Stara Varos. This is also where the clock tower is located. It's a little bit funny for me that Város means city in Hungarian language. So it's a sort of connection between the two languages. So yeah, mainly you can find communist old blocks here, which is not surprising. Montenegro was part of Yugoslavia decades long, but many buildings are renovated or reconstructed in modern style. Here we can still spot some stone buildings. This is how it looked like in that Ottoman period. These buildings are more authentic, of course, reconstructed, but at least looking very nice. So there you can also see Stara Varos, which means old town, and Crna Gora means Montenegro in local language. These stone buildings are fascinating, even though they are not that old as before. And here you can find a very famous restaurant. I also tried the food here, and it's very good. You can find the local grill specialties. It's called Podvolat, and Stara Varos also mentioned here. So yes, the prices are not high. For €7 you get a huge portion, of course, if you like a grill. Well, it's not any paid advertising which I do now. I'm just telling you this as a hint if you will ever travel here. And it also has a nice terrace, so I think it's advisable to eat in Stara Varos one time at least. Unfortunately, there is no sign about where is the house of Kubranovic, so I'm just guessing that maybe this is the one located next to the clock tower. This is the oldest survived town house, and it was built in 1630. It is a significant kind of cultural and historical building because after the liberation of Podgorica from the Ottomans in January of 1879, it also served for a time as the seat of the first local government and municipal administration. This is the Millennium Bridge of Podgorica, Most Millennium. It is a cable-stayed bridge that spans over the Moraca River. The bridge was designed by Marian Pippenbacher, a Slovenian structural engineer and a bridge specialist from the Slovenian company Pointing Bridges, and Mladen Ulicevic, a professor of the faculty of Podgorica. It was built by the Slovenian company Primorje and opened on the 13th July of 2005, which is Montenegro's National Day. It quickly became one of the city's most prominent landmarks and a symbol of development. The bridge is 173 meters long. 12 cables support the roadway deck, while 24 more are attached to the counterweights, creating this splendid image. The construction of the bridge began in 2005, and the building cost was approximately 7 million euros. The roadway carries 2 lanes of traffic and a pedestrian walkway in each direction. This is the Independence Square of Podgorica, Trg Republike. Before 2006 it was called Ivan Milutinovic Square. He was a communist politician and national hero and general. So in 2006 Montenegro gained its independence, and in that year the square was renamed to Independence Square. We can also find here an obelisk. In the background is a Hard Rock Cafe. So they completed a very expensive project which cost 2.5 million euro. They widened the square, made it car free, and they also planted some palm trees, decorated it a little bit. So I think it's a good idea to come here if you want to chill around the fountain. The square covers an area of 5,000 square meters. Both the city library, Radosav Jumovic, and the State Gallery Art are located in this square. You can also see over there that the square was decorated with colonnades. That was also something new. Couldn't find it in the time of Ivan Milutinovic Square. This is the Ribnica River, and across the river there is an ancient Roman bridge. This is the oldest structure of the city. Absolutely incredible that this bridge is still standing. Of course it was renovated sometimes, but still it's absolutely amazing. And this small river, Ribnica, is flowing in the much bigger Moraca River. And over there you can see some ancient stones and city walls, also from the Roman era. I couldn't find more information about these stones and walls. It was a little bit difficult to get more information about Podgorica, but it's absolutely fascinating that such an old structure is still here. I'm pretty sure here was some kind of wall. It's a pity I couldn't find any information about it. We rather don't walk inside, maybe we will disturb somebody. Homeless would be not happy for that. This is the flag of Montenegro. As I see, the communist times are not really forgotten, because the statue of Tito is not removed, and also we can find a flower on the statue, so it's a little bit surprising for me. The Cathedral of Resurrection of Christ is a Serbian Orthodox cathedral. Construction of the church began in 1993. It was designed by Predrag Ristic. It has around 14,000 square meters. Consecration occurred on the 7th October of 2013 on the occasion of the 1700th anniversary of the Edict of Milan on the freedom of religion, and the ceremony was attended by the heads of the Eastern Orthodox churches. Stadion Podgoricom is the stadium of the Montenegrin national football team, but also of a club called Budućnost. It was constructed after the Second World War in 1945, and it has a seating capacity of 11,500 people. Yesterday Montenegro played here against Hungary. It was 0-0, not a spectacular game. Actually, that was the reason why I came here. At least the walking, the sightseeing was more worth. This is the monument of Vladimir Vysotsky. He was a famous Russian poet, writer, film and theater actor, and he was making a movie here in Podgorica for the Titograd TV back at that time, and he really loved Montenegro. That's why he has a statue here. He also composed a poem which had the title For the Montenegrins. So this is his only statue outside of the former Soviet Union. The Njegoshev Park is very close to the city center, so it's a famous location for the locals to come here and chill. If you want some fresh air, a little bit of nature, it's a good place. And moreover, it's bordered by the Moraca River, so you can also go down and chill on the riverside. A nice pedestrian walk. The busiest bridge of Podgorica is the Blažo Jovanović bridge across the Moraca River. The bridge is located near the confluence of the Ribnica and Moraca rivers, and it is part of the St. Peter of Cetinje Boulevard. It is 115 meters long and 22 meters wide. This is the Roman Square. It's the town's major business district and boasts some of the highest real estate prices in Podgorica, because you can find many companies and investors in this district. The Roman Square is colloquially known as Vectra Square, owing its name to the Vectra business center, the first major building on the square. You can also find a small park here with some palm trees and benches. If you come to Montenegro, you should prepare yourself for some extra expenses if you want to use internet outside, but well, you can also buy a local SIM card. So why is that so? Because Montenegro is not part of the European Union, so roaming is not the same as in other countries. And well, actually Montenegro wants to be in the European Union, that's why their currency is euro. Hristo Kuslev's house belonged to the dentist Dr. Hristo Kuslev, who came to work in the Principality of Montenegro after finishing his studies in 1908. Kuslev was born in 1883 in the town of Kukush in former Macedonia. In the 20s of the 20th century, this famous dentist built a house in the right bank of the Ribnica River, where he immediately placed the dental clinic and performed practice. With its unique windows, entrance openings, staircases, spacious porches and terraces, Kuslev's house is one of the rare buildings in Podgorica that has preserved authentic Balkan architecture of the early 20th century. It is one of the few buildings which survived the bombings of the Second World War. After the war, the house was used for various purposes, and for the longest period of the time it was used as a part of the city museum, to which it belongs also today. The house interior is presented in form of an exhibition, Kuslev's House, a journey through time, which gives an insight into the life and work of this famous dentist who lived his entire professional life in Podgorica. This is the largest mall in Montenegro. The mall of Montenegro in Podgorica combines brand name shopping with fresh produce. It's an interesting place for those looking to soak up the real local culture. Inside this striking circular building you will find all the local and international brands you could ask for, as well as a pool hall and a bustling fresh produce market. Here's also a fresh produce market. You can find fresh vegetables and fruits. This is the railway station of Podgorica. Looks very familiar to some railway stations in Romania. We are not in Texas. This is the train station of the airport of Montenegro, of Podgorica. It's absolutely incredible. But well, it's very convenient for the tourists because it costs only 1.20 euro, 1 euro and 20 euro cents to come here by train, and only 8 minutes. So it's much more cheaper than to pay 15 euro for the taxi. But I should add also that you need to walk like 1 kilometer from here, so it's not right next to the airport. But I think it's a nice walk, 1 kilometer, it's not very much, it's like 15 minutes. So what I wanted to also say that this train is like 5 times in a day. Then sometimes the tourist is forced to take the taxi depending on the schedule of the flights. So this was the vlog about the capital of Montenegro, Podgorica. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if that's so, please subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it yet. It's very important to push on the bell icon, because this is how you get notified about new contents. Have a nice day and goodbye.